Imagine stepping back into an America where gas lines stretched for blocks. Inflation tightened every household budget, and yet the kitchen was alive with the smell of comfort and ingenuity. It was the 1970s and era when families learned to do more with less, and meals became symbols of resilience. Tonight, we're unlocking the rewind vault to revisit the cheap but delicious meals that carried a generation through hard times. Meals born of necessity, but remembered for their flavor, their simplicity, and the memories they left behind. These weren't just dishes, they were lifelines, shared at dinner tables across the country. The 1970s were a turbulent decade. Economic recessions, oil crises, and skyrocketing food prices forced households to stretch every dollar. Eating out was rare. Most meals came from scratch, with inexpensive ingredients and a healthy dose of creativity. In kitchens filled with avocado green appliances and wood paneled walls, families gathered each evening for meals that weren't fancy, but that filled stomachs and warmed hearts. Some of these recipes survive today as comfort food classics. Others have faded into history, remembered only by those who lived through the era. Let's open that time capsule and rediscover the cheap but delicious meals that define the decade. Number 1. Tuna Casserole. Few meals are as synonymous with the 1970s as the humble tuna casserole. Cans of tuna, a can of cream of mushroom soup, and a handful of noodles. Simple, cheap, and endlessly versatile. Mothers across America baked it in glass Pyrex dishes, often topping it with crushed potato chips or breadcrumbs for a little crunch. It was the perfect meal for tight budgets, but also for busy nights. Something you could throw together quickly and feed an entire family. The smell of tuna casserole coming out of the oven was the smell of survival and comfort. Number 2. Hamburger Helper. Launched in 1971, Hamburger Helper became an overnight sensation. Just a pound of ground beef and a box from the store could stretch into a filling dinner for a family of 5. In a decade where meat was expensive, Hamburger Helper was marketed as a way to make a little go a long way. It wasn't gourmet, but families loved it. Creamy stroganoff, cheesy macaroni, or beef noodle. It was convenience in a box, at a price every family could afford. Number 3. Meatloaf. The American classic of ground beef mixed with breadcrumbs, eggs, and ketchup glaze found new popularity in the 1970s. Meatloaf was affordable, easy to make in large quantities, and could be stretched with oats or crackers when meat prices rose. It wasn't just dinner, it was tradition. Served with mashed potatoes and green beans, meatloaf symbolized stability during a decade that often felt anything but stable. Number 4. Sloppy Joes. Sweet, tangy, and messy. Sloppy Joes were a childhood favorite. Ground beef mixed with tomato sauce, onions, and a hint of brown sugar, scooped onto hamburger buns. They were cheap, quick to make, and fun to eat. Families often paired them with potato chips or coleslaw, turning a few pantry staples into a lively dinner that kids couldn't resist. Number 5. Macaroni and cheese. By the 1970s, Kraft's boxed macaroni and cheese was already a household staple. A few cents bought a box of noodles and that unmistakable powdered cheese. Add milk and butter, and you had a filling side dish, or in many homes, a main meal. It was the ultimate comfort food. Creamy, cheap, and child-friendly. Families leaned on it during lean weeks, and to this day, its bright orange color sparks nostalgia for an era defined by simplicity. Number 6. Goulash. American goulash made with macaroni, ground beef, and tomato sauce was a meal designed to stretch ingredients. 1 pound of beef could feed an entire family once it was mixed with pasta and sauce. It was hearty, filling, and reheated beautifully, making it a common leftover that lasted multiple nights. In homes where nothing went to waste, goulash was a survival dish disguised as comfort food. Number 7. Spam and eggs. During the 1970s, Spam was still a staple of working-class kitchens. Cheap, shelf-stable, and surprisingly versatile, it appeared at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Fried slices with eggs were common, but Spam also found its way into sandwiches, casseroles, and even fried rice. To some, Spam was a symbol of hardship, but for others, it was simply part of life salty, satisfying, and dependable when money was tight. Number 8. Chicken a la King. Though the dish originated earlier, chicken a la King remained popular throughout the 70s. Made with leftover chicken, peas, and a creamy sauce, it was served over rice, toast, or egg noodles. Canned chicken and canned vegetables made it an inexpensive option, and it could be dressed up or down depending on what a family had on hand. Number 9. Egg salad sandwiches. Eggs were cheap, plentiful, and high in protein, perfect for cash-strapped families. Egg salad sandwiches, with their mix of chopped eggs, mayonnaise, and mustard, became a lunchtime favorite. They were packed in school lunches, served at church gatherings, and eaten on hot summer nights when the oven stayed off. In the 1970s, the egg salad sandwich was as much a part of daily life as bell-bottom jeans. Number 10. Potato soup potatoes were the backbone of many 1970s meals, and potato soup was one of the most affordable ways to feed a family. Just onions, butter, milk, and potatoes could create a creamy filling bowl. It was the kind of dish that reminded people of the Great Depression and wartime rationing, proof that the old ways of making do still worked. Number 11. Frito pie. A uniquely American invention, Frito pie was born from convenience and thrift. Open a bag of Fritos, pour in chili, sprinkle cheese, and you had dinner. It was cheap, filling, and fun, especially for kids. Some families served it in casserole dishes, others right in the chip bag. In either form, it was a 1970s classic. Number 12. Rice pudding desserts in the 70s were often as thrifty as the dinners. Rice pudding, made from leftover rice, milk, sugar, and cinnamon, turned scraps into something sweet and comforting. It was served warm in winter, chilled in summer, and flavored with nutmeg or raisins. To this day, it evokes memories of a mother's careful hand and a kitchen that wasted nothing. Number 13. Shepherd's pie. Layered with ground beef, mixed vegetables, and topped with mashed potatoes, shepherd's pie was a budget-friendly way to stretch ingredients. It was baked in casserole dishes and brought out steaming hot to the table, hearty enough to feed everyone and guaranteed leftovers for the next night. Number 14. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Sometimes the cheapest meals are also the most iconic. In the 1970s, a loaf of bread, a jar of peanut butter, and a jar of jelly could stretch across dozens of meals. It was the go-to lunch for school kids, and in many homes, the emergency dinner when payday was still a few days away. Number 15. Beef stroganoff. True stroganoff might have been expensive, but families found ways to make cheaper versions. Ground beef replaced steak, sour cream was stretched thin, and noodles became the base. It was a taste of luxury, without the price tag. Number 16. Jell-O molds. No 1970s kitchen was complete without Jell-O. From salads to desserts, it was cheap, colorful, and endlessly adaptable. Families added fruit, marshmallows, even vegetables. It was more than food, it was decoration. Shimmering Jell-O molds graced potluck tables and holiday feasts, proof that even the simplest ingredient could be made festive. Number 17. Grilled cheese and tomato soup. A simple can of tomato soup and a loaf of bread could become one of the most comforting meals of the decade. Grilled cheese sandwiches, golden and crisp, dipped into hot tomato soup, cheap, easy, and beloved by children. It wasn't just food, it was the warmth of home on a cold night. Number 18. Chili. A pot of chili could feed a family for days. Made with beans, tomatoes, and just a little ground beef. It was filling, flavorful, and inexpensive. Chili was a meal that brought people together, served at church suppers, family gatherings, or simply on a weeknight when the cupboards were bare. These meals were more than recipes. They were the fabric of everyday life in the 1970s. A decade defined by struggle, yes, but also by resilience and togetherness. Each dish told a story of how families survived, adapted, and made memories with the ingredients they could afford. They remind us that food is never just about eating, it's about comfort, connection, and history served on a plate. Which of these meals do you remember from your own childhood, or perhaps from stories told around your family table? Drop your memories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this trip back through time, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Rewind Vault, and join us again as we unlock more memories from America's past. Because sometimes, the simplest meals are the ones that stay with us forever.